Welcome to No Perspective, the show that's from the people for the people. I'm Rue.
Jonathan, Smitty, Rock, don't matter what you call me as long as you listen.
Okay, love. Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen.
Today's show is about understanding one's value, meaning everybody has certain values that they actually are offered to others. But one of the main things in order to get equal value back is you have to understand your value. So one thing learning that I maybe misunderstood is I thought that this was knowledge that everybody held. But I had a few conversations with people to where they would be like, I would tell them like, yo, you got to make people actually respect you for your value. And they didn't understand when I said it at first. They didn't even like say anything the first couple times. And then one time people started asking me like, what do you mean? So what I found out that understanding your value and holding people to a standard isn't common. So what I would like to do is have a conversation about that. And first ask you guys is if first and foremost, if you understand your value and be like just honest question. And then when did you first start understanding your value that you offer someone and how to uphold that person to that standard?
Okay, so I just want to be clear. We're exclusively speaking on relationships. It could refer.
We could start. Yeah, we could. I would like it to keep it to relationships for now, and then
Okay.
if it grows into something, it grows. But right now, I'm talking about relationships.
Yeah, I just wanted to be clear.
I got a great twist to the other part, so yeah.
Okay. I started understanding my value probably into my later 20s. You know, I didn't really respect myself. I didn't love myself. I might have had a lot of narcissism and, you know, cockiness and arrogance and, you know, a lot of things that I thought was love or respect that I had for myself, but it wasn't true love and true respect for myself in the right kind of way. You know what I mean? And probably into my later 20s is when I started understanding my value and what I wanted and what I could bring to the table as far as my attributes and my strengths and just knowing myself better as a man, growing into my manhood. Like, I just want to be clear. I've said this before. In my 20s, I thought I was a man, but I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. You know, I look like a man. You asked me, I might have said, yeah, I'm the man. I'm a man. You know, maybe even if I was paying my own bills, but my behavior wasn't the behavior of a grown man. You know what I mean? So until I really got into my later 20s and into my 30s is when I really truly could say I grew into my manhood. And I don't want to get off topic, but I what's the right word? I attribute that to being that our culture doesn't have a rite of passage. You know, we don't have people saying you need to grow up. You know, in other, you know, in books it says when you was a child, you acted as a child, you thought as a child. Now put childish things away and start to act like a man. They do that in other cultures at like 13. You know what I mean? For us in our culture, we kind of stay boyish. It's just like the movie Baby Boy. You know, we stay boyish until our 20s. You know, until you're forced. You know, and even and that's really, we had a bad example because I'm not gonna name people, but even our predecessors, our uncles, father figures, people, they weren't getting themselves together till 36, 40. So in our 20s, we feel like we got nothing but time to play, you know? And I felt the same way. I played and I really didn't understand my value. So until I got into my later 20s and was somewhat forced, you know, by relationships and love, and started getting to the point to where I was hurting people that I cared about, and they started pointing out my flaws and my attributes, and then it started to come together on the type of man that I wanted to be. But I would say not until my late 20s and 30s is when I really realized my worth.
I would say that I truly still, you know, don't understand my value that I can bring, specifically talking about relationships, right? Like people may have seen in the other episodes that I'm one of the few that, you know, I don't have kids. I'm a single man, not in a relationship, and I feel sometimes.
Hold up, you're not a relationship? You just say, Yo, did you just say?
I'm talking-
You
I'm
almost-
talking-
how'd you
I'm
say?
talking
it? How'd you
about,
say?
I'm
it?
talking about
You're
serious.
almost in one. and
Almost in one and just out of one.
Listen. I'm talking about serious
We was
relationships.
just talking
yeah,
outside.
But serious.
He just
Get on the air. And
But listen,
all right, I'm
listen,
sorry.
listen.
the Eagles when he done with it.
Yeah.
Yo,
Yo,
Eagles
go
when I'm
Birds.
done with
Yeah,
you.
she
Go
like the
Birds.
Giants.
I'm
Yeah,
done, yo,
yeah, I'm done with that. Yeah.
The real relationships,
but
man.
on a serious note,
Yeah.
I still don't really understand what I can bring. You know, I don't have any kids, and being 31, about to be 32, I find that rare. You know, in today's society, because most people are having babies when they're real young. That's why I was so happy when Rock had his first, daughter. I was very proud of him. I don't know if he knows that, but we were one of the few, me, him, and a couple other friends that, 30 years old, just starting to, reach that level where we're having kids. We're really starting a serious family. And right now, I'm at a position where I don't see anyone that is a potential baby mother for me. You know what I mean? And with baby mother, I don't mean have a baby and not be in a relationship. I mean have a kid, have a baby, boy, girl, doesn't matter, and growing to something better, So
I just want to say something. I don't think that you need to, because that's what I was doing. I was basing my value off of someone else, and that's what you're waiting for. This is why we're having this podcast, and this is why we're having this talk.
But like I said, I don't even truly understand my value, because, like, I know to myself, my value to myself, right?
Yeah.
I can take care of myself. I take care of my own bills. But we've been paying bills, ever since I was 19 years old.
Yeah.
I've been paying, like, literally my own bill. He came out to Indiana. I was paying all that on my own. You feel what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I've been doing that for a while. So I'm speaking more deeply into, in relationship sense, kids, family, even just having, before we even get to that step, having someone that I can look at like, yo, listen, this is what I bring. What do you bring? Meet me here, meet me there. I don't mind. I want her to come with a 50%, range, but I don't mind giving out the 75. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and now this is why this is extremely important, and we could use kid, because this is for women too. I have most of these talks with a lot. I got a lot of girlfriends. I talk to all of them about this, but it's not synonymous to just women. This is for everybody. I had to go through this. Kay, you're seeing it. You have to go through this. Right. One of the main things before you can start actually asking or having expectations is you have to know what you bring, what your value. You have to know what you bring to the table.
Absolutely.
Because in relationships, one thing that is extremely important is compromise. All right, it's compromise, and it's actually having the notion of you're giving, I'm giving. You don't necessarily want to be in a relationship where all you're doing is giving or all you're doing is taking. You can't have lopsided relationships.
Balance.
All right, you have to have balance in a relationship. So therefore, what I want to go through is just like you said, you don't know. We could start to figure it out. You'll never be finished. I'm not finished. It's something that changed in my life that it completely kind of like turned myself upside down. And then me and my wife got to work through it, because I didn't know growing up. We weren't raised healthy. We weren't raised as healthy eaters. So like I was going down the same path that my pop went down. And my pop has a whole lot of issues with his health, with heart issues, all kinds of heart surgeries. I'm not going to go through that. One of the main reasons I'm going to tell you, because I'm low key scared, because I don't mess with needles. Mm-hmm. I don't got no tattoos, no piercings, no nothing. If I keep eating like that, they're going to have to open me up sooner or later. We be in there when Pops had to get the Jones and all that. Ain't nobody sticking me with nothing. All right, so therefore I gotta think like, yo, what I gotta do. So I started doing a whole lot of research and figuring it out. And then what I ended up realizing is, yo, the stuff that we eat is what's making us sick. Mm-hmm. So what I did is I did research and I changed my lifestyle and my eating habits. But my wifey got the same eating habits as I grew up as having. So what I'm changing right now is my eating habits, but it's now, so I changed something that I value. If I started a relationship today, one of the main principles is health. I would add health into it. But because I'm not starting a relationship, I'm in a relationship. So now this is a new value that I have to enter and actually
It's like
introduce.
building on it.
Yeah, I have to
Build on it.
introduce to this relationship and have the compromise to where like, yo, listen, this is what we got to do. And we working. And my wife is great because she's been working with me. She's not perfect. I'm not perfect, but we working it out and we figuring it out. So you got to understand, what do you need? All right. And we got a small formula that is not fall proof, but that you could really start breaking it down. Like, what do you need, and to show it in a sequential order. You understand what I'm saying? So, but one thing, this is where I came to it. It was an epiphany, and this is I got a cousin. I mean, he kind of low key raised me, taught me everything I know. Along with him, Bill. But like, Bill is one of the most inappropriate people that I've ever met in my life. But sometimes he says the most genius thing that I ever heard. So this is my segment. I got a whole lot of stories about my man Bill. Bill's inappropriate genius. Yo, so one time, right? It was so crazy because I wouldn't talk to him as an adult. When we was younger, we talked all the time. We lived in the same house. As an adult, I wouldn't talk to him for like a year.
Yeah.
And then he would, out of nowhere, I would call him, he would call me. Somehow we would get in touch with each other, and we would start talking. And as we start talking, we always build, and we build deep. He's going through the same thing mentally that I'm going through. So now I'm like, yo, what's going on? And Bill is, me and him got the same birthday. So me and him are extremely alike on a lot of levels. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, yo, like, this is amazing. So I asked him, because like I said on the show before, I used to be confused because I didn't understand why like women gravitated towards me. So I just used to abuse it. And I was in a confused state. Mm-hmm. Like, I not understanding my value, because what we used to do, it was about quantity for real. Mm-hmm. Seriously, about quantity. I got a messed up story that I really don't want to tell, but I might tell it.
You gotta tell it.
I'm going to tell it. I mean, this is the most incriminating story I'm telling on this podcast. I'm sorry, everybody. Yo, when we said earlier,
I'm looking at him like, yo, what is he about to say?
I'm saying to forget you. Yo, Rue said earlier, these stories are based on true stories. No, this is a fictional story based on true events.
Like Law and Order.
Yo, I'm about to. This is a fictional story based on true events.
Yeah.
All right.
Gotta put a Law and Order clause.
Yo, one day, I'm in 8th grade. 8th grade. One day, we used to be home, just sitting there chilling. We didn't necessarily have, like, we was crazy, yo. I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah.
We really had a messed up way of thinking that we had to work our way out of. And what I'm trying to get to is showing the messed up way of thinking, and then all we're telling throughout this whole podcast is how we worked our way out of this.
Exactly.
So, they come home late. They came from a party. So I'm not incriminating nobody, but it was a whole group of them. They used to be like 5 of them, and it was like 4 of my friends. We in the back room chilling, just talking. They come in, and we always used to wait up real late for them because we wanted to hear the stories. You feel me? So we wait up, and now they come in, and they like, yeah, and then they talking about all of these girls. So one of them's talking like, yo, I got 3 tonight, not 3 numbers, 3 bodies. Mm-hmm. I mean, they smashed 3. So now we looking like 3. You know what I mean? We have a hard time grabbing 1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We struggling over here in the 8th grade. Yo, you feel me? We talked about it a lot. I remember I had the shorty from Trenton, never met her. Kenny had a shorty from somewhere else, never met her. We always used to be like, yeah, I got a girl. Woo, woo, woo. Mm-hmm. She's from up there. We lying. Mm-hmm. We lying. We lying. We just, yeah, she up the way. I met her at the movies. You ain't meet her nowhere. You feel me? Yeah. So we used to tell all kinds of lies because we just we weren't where we needed to be. We weren't even mature enough to even be thinking like this. Right. So, but we didn't really.
Yeah, we're growing.
Yeah, we didn't really feel that get back because we weren't really, but we were fighting it, trying to get into that space. Mm-hmm. So they like, yeah, I got 3, and they was seniors in high school. So like we looking like 3. Sheesh, like it's going off. Mm-hmm. So that all we talked about, they went to sleep. They was tired. We just would get up trying to plot like, how can I get 3? How can I get 3?
Real quick sidebar, real quick, hold your thought. And this inappropriate genius is perfect for what you're saying because he started that. Yo.
Yeah, he did.
He started this narcissistic, psychotic, who could catch more bodies in one day. So we used to be battling, and it's crazy. I'm embarrassed.
It was a competition.
This is the only reason I know how many bodies that I got is because, like, we used to keep track.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we would like keep literally. That's real. That's like some some psychotic serial killer. Like you keeping track of the like penny drawer. Embarrassing
I
stuff.
had
that
a
look
box.
back.
I had a penny
I
box.
remember that box.
Yeah. Shout out to my wife because I ain't get rid of it until she got rid of it. She's like, "What the fuck is you doing with all this?" I was looking like, "I'm trying to hold on to it. I'm trying to hold on to it." She wasn't having
Sweet
it.
smell
You see
of
what I'm saying?
bath and body wash.
Oh my goodness.
Cherry blossom.
Yo, you came to the crib. You was leaving. It came to a point we used to tell them like, you might as well not even bring no. You bring an extra pair.
Yo, remember we had the party when it was that me? No, I think that was me, you and Bill. Or that was me and Bill, where it was like wear a thong and wear no, like we had it was
It's
crazy.
inappropriate. But this is all right. So yeah, I mean we had 3. So we just trying to figure out how we get 3. But this felt impossible, right? Impossible to us. So I mean, one day we had a half a day. You know, back in the day, you were in middle school. You got half a day. You don't tell your parents. Then we go to my man crib. You know what I mean? My man had his pop had a liquor hutch. We used to tap into that joint. You know what I'm saying? So we go over there. I'm trying to like make the story vague. I ended up dealing with one girl in the bathroom, but it was a hallway. It was mad rooms. You know what I mean? So ended up having sex with her. She left. You know what I mean? So now we still chilling in there. Another girl, I guess she was like, you know what I mean, paying attention. And this is another thing, but I guess she was paying attention to me. So I really wasn't even noticing because I'm feeling like I'm back in the day. I'm done. You see what I'm saying?
I'm good.
I'm done. So she kind of imposed herself on me. So I had to do it. So now all I remember was, you didn't talk about 3. I'm in the 8th grade. So I got 2. Now I'm soup. Because I got 2. I don't expect to get 3 until I get to their level. Today they in high school. I'm still in the 8th grade. You feel me? I got 2. Ooh, I go back. I walk all the way home, smiling, waiting to see one of them. But my man that was already in high school, we tell him yo, get some girls over. Woo woo. He got 2 girls to come over. You understand what I'm saying? 2 joints. So we get there. It just so happened that one of the girls was. My mom worked with her dad, so my mom was trying to kick him out like they can't be here. No, you know what I mean? Like nah, it's not happening. We had to go to football practice. You know what I mean? Rue I don't know. We left expecting them to be gone. Rue must have thought like he just talked there like yo, just let them stay. They chilling.
I knew what it was.
When we got home, but I didn't even tell them about like the count because we was just rushing. They probably like yo football. So we run out. You know what I mean? So Rue talked my mom into letting them stay. We got home from football, they was there. So the one shorty already liked me. So like now I already kind of know what it is. They cleaned up the room. We came home, hopped in the shower, got out, ended up with the one shorty. She already liked me. It wasn't even like really no talking. She already understood what was going on. Had sex with her. Now I got 3. Smile on my face, can't even. And this is what we thought was like an accomplishment. I felt accomplished, but that's what I'm gonna get into that. But this is what I want to tell people.
Right.
These accomplishments didn't give anything back,
Right.
so it's not really an accomplishment. Something that you accomplish is supposed to give back something. It's not supposed to just you give out, and then you get. All I got was a small sense of yeah, but that it goes into it. That's where all right. So boom, hold on, I ain't stopped there. Okay, so then her, not bragging. She went to sleep because they stayed a little later. Her friend was looking like, yo, like what's up? This real? I'm like, nah, you gotta go with my boy. I'm feeling like I'm 3. I'm done. Like I'm win already. They got 3 in high school. I got 3 in the 8th grade. I won. You know what I'm saying? I won. Forget them. And but she didn't want. Ended up dealing with her too. That's 4. So now I was going back to them, looking at them like, yo, what's up? And they looking at me like, yo, you lying. But I had everybody to corroborate it. You know what I mean? So I felt accomplished back then. But it goes into why Bill. So that's what we.
Well, the record stands at 5.
All right, no talk. You see how you try to shoot me down, man? But
shoot your shit down,
so now my man, Bill. So he one day we having this conversation because that's really our principles back then. And it was, I say it right now, it was wrong.
It was a waste of time.
It was a waste of, all right, here we go. Mad energy. So me and him talking, and we having those type of conversations. And he said, yo, like, to be honest, he said, we don't really value ourselves. So I'm like, yo, Bill, what you talking about, man? Like, what do you mean? He was like, the way that we spread ourselves around and the way that we used to just give ourselves to anyone, what kind of value are you really showing for yourself? How special do you feel like you are? Mm-hmm. Usually you don't hear this talk. Like, women get these type of talks. But he's a man giving me this talk, and everything he was saying was making sense. So I'm like, I'm just trying to ask a few questions because I feel what he's saying, but it goes against everything that I've been taught. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, yo, like, what do you mean? And he's like, yo, listen, if we spread ourselves all the way thin, and we just completely give ourselves to anyone with no exclusivity, how much are you really saying about yourself? How much? Why is Louis Vuitton the hats so sought after?
Everybody can't get it.
Because everybody can't get it. That's why. You understand what I'm saying? If they just give the price and start giving away Lamborghinis, is Lamborghinis going to be that special?
No,
it's not going to be. It's because you have some pride in yourself. So what he was really trying to tell me, like, bro, we were doing it and it was fun because that's what we were taught, but we ain't really have no pride in ourselves.
Right.
We ain't really think about ourselves with no sense of value. We didn't know what we really brought to somebody. He was like, because we looking like, damn, we could just get all these girls. He was like, the girls see our value. We don't. So who's really wrong? You understand what I'm saying? They see. The reason that these girls come to talk, because they see, like, yo, that boy, he got a nice head on his shoulder. He driven. You know what I mean? We physical, so we not necessarily, we gonna make them feel safe. You understand what I'm saying? We got a nice little swag, so we not just the goofy. So girls see that. They see all of our value, but we were the ones not seeing our own value.
Yeah.
He taught me that. That's when I realized, and I start thinking different, like, yo, and this is the man that also, this is the same man that made me feel like the more girls I had sex with in the day, the more of a man that I am. But after he went through life and I went through life, he came back and he completely debunked that teaching with telling me, like, yo, like, listen, you can, all of that, what we do, there's no reward into that, because all we did was give ourselves away for free. And this is
free.
how
I was just waiting to say that, man.
we just give ourselves away for free.
Even a prostitute getting paid, bro.
Hold up. But this is
doing
this
shit
is how,
for free, and we paying for it because y'all want drinks, y'all want this, y'all want that.
But this is how. You mean, this is how I really want to go into it. One day I used to tell this to all of the girls that I know, like, yo, listen. After I learned it, yo, y'all start valuing yourselves. They're looking at me like, what are you talking about? What do you mean value? One of them had a hat on. I said, how much that hat cost? She said, this hat, $15. I said, can I give you $2 for it right now? She like, no, you can't have $2. My hat, I just called me $15. No.
Right.
I said, so why can't I give you nothing for the pussy? Mm-hmm. She looked at me like, she's like, what you mean? I said, but yo, do you know how many $100 pussies that I paid $2 for, bro?
Right.
$2.
Right.
I ain't give none. Now and this is where I feel like, and this is why I want to talk to women. I feel like what women do is they pay for the potential. Because, you mean, when you see a certain dude, you see that, yeah, he's not giving me nothing, but he could potentially give me everything that I want. Yo, you can't allow somebody to pay for the potential. This is what I want. All of the women, this is my give back. I'm going to teach my daughter this. Swear to God. The men and our daughters, we got to start having a different relationship. Because the whole, don't talk to nobody, woo, 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 that shit don't work. We got to start teaching them what we learn from our experiences. And one thing that I learned is, if you're a woman, all right, now women use sex for leverage. It's a fact.
It's a fact.
All right, you're a woman. You use your sex for leverage. You are overvaluing your sex, but you're overvaluing it. Not saying it's not valuable, but you have other values that are just as important or more. Mm-hmm. So women, you are overvaluing your sex, but and the only reason you do that is because you know that that's what men are valuing. All right, and that's cool. I'm okay with that that relationship.
PUSSY.
But what women do, and we know this, they hold back to make you do a certain thing.
Don't put me on punishment.
No, not after you get it. I'm talking about when you first get it, bro. They hold back.
Right.
So you can they want to, one, maybe even see if that's all you want. Two, maybe want you to do a little bit more, want to reel you in a little bit more to get you to commit a little bit more.
Right.
All right.
So they can say.
But most women, like I said, this is not all women, but most women, what they do is after they give of themselves, After you done whatever they want and they give of themselves, that's it. They only value themselves one time.
Right. Now it's a power shift. Now,
Now it's a power shift. And now, I feel like I could come back and smack anytime. And I'm talking from experience because that is a fact. Don't tell me that that's not real. After I smack once, I come back. I don't have to court you the same way that I courted you for the first time as the second time. If you value yourself, why are you less valuable after the first time?
Right.
Huh? How much an Uber ride costs? How much?
$15.
You take that Uber ride a second time. How much it costs?
$15.
So are they not devaluing themselves?
You get a discount, man. Because that's why, that's a great point, bro. And what I feel like women have to do also is not that they just devalue themselves, they have to be real with themselves. And it's in here too about being realistic with it, as far as if we're having a mutual situation to where, because women have needs too, let's be honest.
But that's what I'm trying. Sorry to cut you off. I wanted to finish that. That's what I'm trying to say. Women are trying to hold themselves back sexually. When you are sexual beings, do not make us feel like you're not.
Yeah,
you want to do the same thing I want to do. You just don't want to do it for no reason.
Right.
And it's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But what I want to teach my daughter when she gets responsible enough to start having sex and dealing with people, listen, baby, do not feel like once you're trying to hold a man, to a certain standard. If you give yourself away, don't let that man feel like now he's yours forever. He done enough to where he owns you now. No.
Right.
He has to do equal.
The walls have been breached.
He has to do equal value. He has to give you equal value the second time that he gave you the first time. And if you do that, women, you'll wean out a lot of the bullshit.
Right.
And then you'll wean out a lot of the bullshit because
he's not gonna want to work for it twice unless he's really interested. That's what it comes down to.
Unless he's interested or he notices your value, he understands your value.
Right.
Please do that, Avery. Avery, you might see this 20 years from now. Please do that to these goofy ass niggas. And don't let no man feel like he own you after one time of smacking. That's not true. You understand what I'm saying? Make that man, and the key to that, women, you can't suppress your sexual urges so much to where now once you give it away, now you're just out of control.
Okay, so
you have to be under control of your sexuality.
Let's take it into the love language and the foundation of it.
Now let's do that with Kay, because you said something, and I went on. Did I finish the bill, John? Right? Yeah, I finished the bill, John. That's my man. Love you, Bill. Yo, but you inappropriate genius.
Free Bill, inappropriate.
Yo, Kay, because you said you're not really sure. So what we want to do with you is start to actually lay a small foundation where this is not necessary. Like, just because we do it now, that doesn't make it set in stone. Everything is always workable, and that's why I said me now valuing health, that changes my whole thing with my wifey. So now you gotta, we're in relationships, you gotta be willing to compromise.
And not just that, right? Real quick, while he's looking that up, when you come to the table as a man and you have your value and you know your worth, now you can demand. Now you have leverage. You see, remember we were talking about that. Now you can demand things from the woman that you with and say, look, I'm not coming, half-assed. I'm not coming on some poo, but I'm bringing this to the table. Yeah. I'm bringing this to the table, and I'm bringing this to the table, and this is what I expect in return. So now let's deal. You know what I mean? Because it's not all about the power of the yams at that point. And if you're at that point, you have to be realistic and know where y'all at in that situation. And that's a whole nother podcast. You know what I mean?
What we got, what we gonna break down, and we gonna break it down one other. What we gonna want you to do is just consider it. Like I said, this is really an example for you. Consider it, and we're gonna try to list this sequentially. All right. So what we have first is called the love requirements. What do you require? All right. The foundation. Everybody has to have a foundation. All right. Certain things that need to be in the foundation, even if you don't see it as important. Like,
give them the three.
It's more than three. Found trust, communication, respect, sexual attraction, and a must-have. So like you might have, like me, if I was to start now, health would be one of my must-haves because I need to be healthy.
Right.
I feel like health is longevity. Mm-hmm. There's no reason for me to be doing anything if I'm not gonna sustain myself and keep myself here.
Right.
All right. So health is most important to me. So everybody has their own individual must-have, but I feel like the foundation again is trust, communication, respect, sexual attraction, and must-have. Now you can list that on what's most
Right.
important
From one to
to
whatever.
least important. All right. Now, give yourself an example.
Okay.
What do you think yours is?
For me, like I had, with the.
What's
we
your
talk-
foundation? I'm sorry.
My foundation is, like he said, health for him. You know what I mean? And he's coming from a standpoint, like he said, he went through a learning process, a learning curve. We can take it to a more juvenile standpoint. When we're young, we don't know. I'm giving an example for everybody. A must-have for me, for some women, and for me it was, you had to have a fatty or a nice body. And that sounds so shallow, but in my younger years, that was a must-have for me. You had to have some type of nice body. You had to be perfect, but I needed a nice body, and then we can work from there. For some women, it's he has to be tall. He has to be this. He has to be muscular. He has to be whatever. I'm giving that example. But for the health one, that's for him, for where he's at. For each one of us, it could be different. Some people like light skin. Some people like dark skin. That's the definition of the must-have, okay? So my must-have is you got to have real hair, because I hate the smell of weave. You could put weave in here and there. I just don't like weave. And that's personally really my must-have. And it's not a shallow thing.
Is that your number one or your must-have?
That's my must-have.
All right.
My number one, as far as breaking them down in communication-wise, is mine is trust. And I told you this last night. I need to be able to trust the woman I'm with. I like loyal women. I don't want to have to feel, because I know that at my heart, I have a tendency to be disloyal. So if I feel any type of way, my ego is struggling, I feel like I can't trust you, I'm already on to the next one. So I need to be with a woman that I know can be loyal and I can trust you. And trust and respect is not the same thing. So mine's is trust, communication, and then respect. And you had sexual attraction in there.
That goes to, like, if you like a fatty. I mean, if you know what I'm saying? It's like, I put that in because I wanted everybody's must-have to be something else, not just because everybody's must-have was end up being sexual. You understand what I'm saying? So what I want, that takes care of your must-have. So now you could bring something else in and like into the foundation.
I understand.
To your must-have.
I understand. All right, so
you said trust.
Trust is number one for me.
Mm-hmm.
Then communication.
Mm-hmm.
Then sexual attraction.
Sexual attraction.
The passion has to be there for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you can work on it, but what I've learned through my history is that you got to have some type of charisma in the bedroom in order for it to sustain. You can try in different ways. And then respect. The reason why I say respect as my number 4 is because respect can be learned, it can be taught, and everybody doesn't have respect, because just like us, as an example, we didn't have the same respect that we have now than we have then. And that's just my personal preference. I'm not pushing that off on nobody. Some people, respect is number 1. For me, I put respect down on that as number 4 for me, because for one, I have a lot of patience. For one, I understand people on a different level. So when people do and say certain things to me, I analyze it and break it down real quick from how it's really coming. If they're upset about something else or whatever, that's just me. I know that about myself. But so it would be communication, trust, communication, sexual attraction, respect, and then I need to be able to smell shampoo in your hair every once in a while, man.
My main thing, my number 1, and it's not in that.
So that's your must-have.
That's the must-have. Okay,
Yeah.
My must-have is ambition, right?
Okay.
I love an ambitious woman, right? I don't care, like, as far as, of course you got to be attractive, but that's what's going to make me see the ambition, right? But you have to be ambitious, because I done dealt with some beautiful women, you've seen them, and, I've dealt with some mediocre-looking women, but they're very ambitious. They're, their main thing is getting something out of themselves in life, right? So that's my must-have, right? So what's the list again?
All right, you said that's your must-have. So now it's trust, communication, respect, and sexual attraction.
All right. Trust has to be number 1, of course.
It's number 2, because you got the
must-have. I didn't think the must-have was a part of that.
Yeah, it's still a part of the list.
All right,
and
so
we're gonna deal with the list.
So the must-have is number 1. So trust will be number 2 for me. Obviously, if I can't trust you, that's just like a friend, right?
Yeah.
If I can't trust you, you can't be in my house. You can't be in my car.
Right.
You know what I mean? I say hi and bye. That's about it.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So that got to be my number 2. Communication will be my next one, right? Because, that's key. Communication is key. And I sometimes have problem with communication. I do a lot. You know, Jonathan knows I work a lot of hours. You know, I'm at 100 hours this week, right? So I work a lot of hours. I'm always on the move. I got football. Sundays, don't even text me because I'm watching football. I'm not going to respond back to your text message. It's over. Don't call me, nothing. I don't want to pick up the phone, nothing. It's on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah.
Do not call me while I'm filming because I'm going to put it on Do Not Disturb. I'm not going to respond to your text message. Don't FaceTime me, nothing. So communication is key, and most of the time, because I had some good women, but most of the time my communication lacked, right? So to go back about the, the relationship topic when we talked before, that's one of my problems is communication, right?
Yeah.
So communication has to be 3 for me, and I would say sexual attraction. What was the other one? Communication,
Respect, sexual attraction, and respect is the last.
Respect is kind of. I would say respect is the most important because if you don't respect them, if you don't respect me, then there's going to be no trust. You don't respect me, whatever. Communication. You don't respect me enough to even communicate where you're going, whatever. Whatever's going on, how you feeling, whatever. So I feel as though that's the most important, but it falls fourth on my list, right? Because now I go through all those steps to get to the respect. Sexual attraction is the least on my list.
That's a good way to put it, the way you just put it as far as respect, because respect is tricky, but that's why it's on there with trust, because it's not the same thing.
And the sexual attraction, I can find the beauty in all women, right? So the sexual attraction, of course, you got to be attracted to someone, to deal with them. But if I'm with a shorty right now, I think she's beautiful, right? Say everybody thinks she's beautiful. She's a 10, right? Gets in a car accident, whatever the case may be, now her face is scarred. You feel what I'm saying? So now that 10 in ignorant eyes, that 10 goes down to a 2 now, right? But to me, I see you as when I first met you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I can find the beauty in everything. And what I know and how I stuck with you because you was beautiful, but I had a lot of beautiful women, like I said, but they didn't qualify on the rest of that list.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
I got you.
So now I can find the beauty in everybody, right? So now when that 10, looks-wise goes down, right, I'm still here with you. Why, when you get older, right, your wife don't look the same as when you first met her.
Yeah.
When y'all 60 years old,
millions of
she
songs.
old now,
Yeah,
right? But my mom, she was beautiful back in the day. I'm not saying my mom not beautiful now, but in my dad's eyes, she's aging, right? My dad didn't leave her to try to find something else. My dad could have paid for a whole bunch of, different women to try to, get the looks back.
Yeah.
But he stayed with her,
Right.
because he found the beauty outside of the looks,
All
right?
right, now that just took me to something that was extremely important. Now, that's because you see that foundation, sexual attraction is only one of them, like that portion. So if somebody else, if lacking sexually the sexual attraction, but they're actually taking all of them, they're not all of the other qualities they have and they're dealing with, but they're lacking sexual attraction. You're not gonna leave. Because their foundation is still strong.
Right.
You understand? So that's what everybody, when you get older, that's what happens. But now what I want to do is do it in reverse. Because you just did it. Now, what do you think your strongest to weakest when it comes down to foundation? Because this is part of a part of understanding what you bring to somebody is knowing what you want. You know what you want. Now, regards to foundation, what are you the strongest at? And what are you the weakest? And I'm going to go through them again. Trust, communication, respect, sexual attraction, and then let's leave the must-have out of it because that is personal.
Yeah,
that's personal. So let me start. I'm sorry, bro. I already told you.
Strongest to weakest.
Can I go weakest to
Yeah,
strongest?
you go weakest to strongest.
Communication is the weakest. I said that before, even though it's pretty high on my list, but I am the weakest at communicating with the female, right? I would say, read the list again. I'm sorry.
We go in trust, communication, respect, sexual attraction.
The trust will be my next one. And mainly it's more so women don't trust. Well,
You're a man.
The women
Just
that, you know what I mean. I'm
you're
a man. You
Trust
know what I
might
mean. You're not.
be
You're not
trust
going.
might be where
You're not
all
going
of
to. You know, and it's not so much. You know, my weakness is just the weakness that I have as far as a whole.
Yeah.
Right. So I trust you right now. Mm-hmm. But you can go. I'm not going to search your phone. I'm not going to look for nothing. If something's being brought to me, now we have a problem.
Why this is going to be a lot of men's weak point is because we don't necessarily know how or taught how to make a woman trust me. Women, like especially women that have been in scenarios to where they have bad experiences, they come in already with the notion of like, I can't trust, and we see it on social media all the time. Can't trust no dude.
But you know what I hear a lot though, right? Oh, my shorty trusts me. She got the password to my phone, or she got the password to my social media. It's bigger than that. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Because I know a lot of cats that
trust
they shorty got. You know what I mean?
Trust ain't when you only can investigate.
That is very shallow right there, as far as you know, passwords to phones and all that. You know what I mean? It shouldn't even have to go that far.
But trust has to be earned. It's just like a friendship.
Absolutely.
You just compared it to a friendship. The reason why you trust your friends, and it goes back to the other show that we were discussing about with the kids. We were trying to tell them, make sure you know your friends. Make sure you can trust them enough to know that they're going to make a good decision, to know they're not going to put you in a bad situation. Trust in a relationship. That's why people need to take their time. That's why we needed to take our time in relationships, because trust has to be earned. People could put on for a while. They could put on for a while, but then their true colors will eventually come out, and then you'll realize if you can trust them or not, and how far you can trust them, because nobody's perfect. Right. Nothing is 100. You see what I'm saying? But that has to be earned. And like Jonathan had a great point, we don't know how to. That's our right go. Look, my phone's unlocked. You got my passcode. Yeah. So that's our go-to to try to make them feel comfortable. We really don't really know how to make a woman trust us, because and it's that blurred line with respect. Right. Because they feel like, well, you don't respect me enough to, but sometimes they talking about trust.
I think the strongest quality that we had growing up, and it may have lost y'all, but it's still here with me. The strongest one was sexual attraction. I've always been able to, talk to women. We always been those guys that can talk to women, right? That I'm
no
sorry.
Comment.
I don't want to incriminate nobody, but I've always, me myself, I've never been scared to talk to women. I don't care how good you look. I don't care how your body looks. I will talk to you. I had a best friend in college. She was a female. She was beautiful, right? Never done nothing with her, but the first time I met her, it was nothing for me to, you know what I mean?
You know how to cut through.
Yeah,
we just know how to cut right through.
I mean, I don't know if it was because they were in Indiana, they liked the East Coast vibes.
But do you know what?
But
that's an untrustworthy behavior to have. So when other women see that you have that, that's really where it stems from.
They get that distrust because they don't have the confidence. You know what I'm saying? But all right, I want to go to one thing. I wanted to bring this in because just to finish out the build thing. What I was trying to say about the build thing is he taught me that men, what we do is we make ourselves accessible. Mm-hmm. All men. Mm-hmm. We make ourselves accessible. But what I want men and young boys to be taught is to just because it's accessible doesn't make you less valuable. All right? Now this is why, right? Oxygen. Is oxygen valuable? Is water valuable?
Very.
We don't appreciate it because it's so accessible, but it still has value. I think because as young men, we devalued ourselves so much that we don't mind just spreading ourselves around, and that creates problem upon problem upon problem.
Okay, so I want to pose a question. It's time for a question. How do we change that stigma? What is the diagnosis for it? Because we've been talking about it and we got the idea, but how do we diagnose it? Because this is what this podcast is about. What is our diagnosis to help change the stigma?
I'd have a theory.
Let me say something first.
Sorry.
Right? I think, right, it's like, us really getting to know yourself. You understand what I'm saying? Like you guys said earlier. It's like really starting to trust yourself, starting to be confident in yourself, start to, just really learn your values that you have.
What he was just doing with you, he was having you go forward with what you want with the foundation, and then he made you go backwards with what your weaknesses and strengths was. That was him trying to show you, to teach you to learn yourself. So you just answered your own question with what you did. You didn't finish your weaknesses and your strengths. But that's the diagnosis right there. That's why I asked that question. You see what I'm saying? We have to know, the key to it is know yourself. You see what I'm saying? You have to know yourself first. You know what I mean? And able to be able to make those decisions, even as a young kid, to where you're like, oh, I just want to catch bodies. I'm at that point. If that's where you're at, I wish as a man, when I was there at that point, I wish I would have just been more honest with people about where I was at, so I didn't have to deal with no drama in the clause, because then you're putting that clause out there. You see what I'm saying? Like, look, this is where I'm at. You know what I mean? And some people understood it and some people didn't. But a lot of people that I dealt with would ask me, like, look, if you just want to play and da-da-da-da-da-da, but I liked them or I wanted to keep them on the hook, so sometimes I would lie or manipulate and be like, nah, to keep them, instead of being straightforward and saying, and that doesn't make it right, but that's a start to knowing what you want yourself and being able to handle it in a better aspect, to diagnose, to break that stigma to where it's not, we're not running around lying and playing all these games.
All right, and I got a theory that I'm not, like I said, this is our perspective. I'm not saying that anything we saying is right or wrong. It's my theory, and this is how I really feel like what should happen. First and foremost, we're raising this question, which should raise awareness into everybody our age, so on and so forth. The real way we break this whole stigma is we raise awareness within us. So now you start questioning, so you start seeing like, yo, I am valuable. Like, why would I even talk to a girl that I don't see brings me nothing, but I'm really willing to give myself to her,
right,
for nothing?
Right.
Yeah, you got to start realizing the value. Everybody has to realize the value within themselves. And then now it would trickle down into our offspring. Now we see our value within ourselves. So now when we have sons, you know what I mean? Because we do it with our daughters as an overprotective thing. Father, we do it like, oh, don't give yourself to anybody. We make our daughters valuable. And there's nothing wrong with that. Please keep doing that. Yeah. But we also have to do the same thing to our sons.
Correct.
All right. So I want to challenge, even if you're a single, all mothers, everybody, please be more involved in your son's relationship.
Or if you're a mother and you watch this, have your son watch it.
Yeah, have your son watch it. Be more involved in their sexual curiosity. When they start talking to people, because women, like I said, these guys, I trusted them, I looked up to them. So when they brought these ideas back to me, I made it law. So we got to start being the people to where now we come to our kids, our offsprings, younger brothers, younger sisters. We got to implement these principles. So now they look at it as law. So now, because I want young boys to go out and look, like, give myself away for what? Right. Why would I do that? That doesn't even make any sense. Not knowing
in one aspect that your mentor was a fool.
Yeah, exactly. Your mentor, and that was the example with this was a guy that I looked up to, and I believe what he was said. But he had the strength and the humility to be able to come back later on in life and then retract that statement and tell me what he really believed about it after he learned. He was teaching me from an unlearned standpoint. Mm-hmm. Once he learned, he retaught me. But now I want everybody to be learned, think about these things, and now when we go teach our children, we say, hey, yo, listen, yo, my man, you valuable. Oh, but we could just, understand your genetics. Yeah. Your genetics is valuable. I didn't understand why girls would be looking and they were trying to, they're gravitating towards us because they see what we don't. They see our value. Right. So that's why I'm not trying to impose on women, but mothers. You'll see your son's value before their dad will, because it's just the opposite thing. Yes. So as fathers, we always impose ourselves on the door, like, yo, you're value, don't give yourself away, and we do that to our daughters to let them know their value. As mothers, I want to challenge you all, not in a disrespectful way, but just in an informative way. Mm-hmm. Start to be more involved and not imposing, but making your sons understand how valuable they are, their value to women, and don't make them feel like that they're just excessive. Their accessibility makes them less valuable.
I got a twist, and I'm gonna go completely left on this one.
Go ahead,
right?
With it.
To get off of the relationship thing, right? I want to talk about friendships.
I knew that was gonna come. That's why I asked that in the beginning.
And
do we even have enough time for that?
Let's go. Keep going. We all right.
I'm gonna talk about friendships, right? So I feel as though the same standards as far as relationships should be brought down to the friendship value, right? And I'm gonna give you an example, right? Leave names out of it, But I'm going to say one name, right? I got Jonathan, right? Then I have another friend over here, right? So I got this friend. They both my mans. I'm going to call them every day. We talk every day. But I got this friend that may call my phone, you know, hey, this dude talking crazy to me. I want to fight. Let's fight. Boom, boom, boom. Right. But when I call him, I'm like, yo, what's up? What you doing? What you getting into? You feel me? Let's go check a basketball game out. But his call the next day is, oh, I'm in a situation. The cops did blah, blah, blah. Right? Still my man, but you're putting me in jeopardy, right? So when I call Jonathan, right, I never once called you to fight anybody for me. Never once. Never called you to come fight anybody from me. And you two are two of the best fighters that I know, right? I never once called you two to fight any battles for me, anything, right? So every time I talk to Jonathan, it's always building, right? On make his life better, make my life better, getting knowledge, whatever. Every time I talk to you, it's something on building. Yeah. It's nothing that ever make me depreciate myself, right? So as far as the friendship level, right, I take the value of friendships different. Still my friends, but I value them different.
But this is what I want to say, though. We made this a relationship topic, but the value is a core principle that needs to be instilled in all of us. We were just talking about relationship because that's what it is, but it's not synonymous to relationship. It's like you said, family. We got to understand our value and what we bring to a scenario, and not accept less. Not accept something, and it's not saying that everything that I give, if Kenny don't borrow money, but if he need $50, I gotta borrow $50. No, it means that we help each other equally. We are on the same level. And then hold on, I want to say this real quick because he lied one time. He did call me to fight somebody. We went out in Indiana and we slept outside somebody's house because they did my man wrong. We should have went there. We was gonna go to jail, but somehow everything happened perfect. I don't even know how these people knew we was outside his house, but they just called and gave him back what they were supposed to give him back to. But he called me one time. But that when we went out, we
I'm gonna tell the story. I'm gonna tell the story right, because he's leaving out parts, right? My mother, right, said, "Listen, I told my mother I'm going out there by myself. I don't care what happened." Yeah. My mother said, "No, take Jonathan." My mom bought his plane ticket. We flew out there, got the rental. So we outside.
She knew his value to your friendship.
She knew his value to my friendship. She knew
with her infinite wisdom. She already knew the type of friend he was, that he's not going to let stuff go too out.
But he has my mom and dad fooled. Like, you don't even know this, right? He has them fooled. I got two stories. That situation, she was like, well, Jonathan's going to keep you calm. He's worse than me back then. He was worse. Right. Like, you know what I mean? Right. So she like, oh, Jonathan's going to keep you calm. You know, take Jonathan with you. I'm like, well, Jonathan's faster than me for one. So as soon as the ball come in, I don't even got time to shoot over there to even help him because it's already over, he's right? In the situation about the ball disrespecting my sister, my mom tells my little sister, well, just call Jonathan. Right? Yeah. Don't even tell your brother. Jonathan's worse than me when it's something like that. You understand what I'm saying? Right.
But it was.
He has him fooled.
With her infinite wisdom. Yeah. Something, you know what I'm saying?
I ain't got him fooled.
You got him fooled. They think he's just nice little truck driver, just driving.
Honk,
yeah. Waving real nice. You know what I'm saying?
Got him fooled, man. That's a good one, man.
Nah, but like you said, though, back to you. We gotta value everything. Value relationships. Yeah. You gotta understand what you bring to the table, and a friendship too. You can't be attached to a whole lot of different friends that aren't reciprocating the value that you actually put out.
Let me get 60 seconds on the friendship thing, right?
You the man.
Because this is growth right here. This is something that I had to go through and I had to learn. Going through my life, I had a large network of people who was all, attached. Some people, like our circle, we was close. A lot of people that was on the outside, you know what I'm saying? And what I had to learn, going back to Kay's point, and I want everybody to know this, when you get to a point in your life to where you start to learn your value, speaking on value, you'll start to reevaluate those friendships. And it's only natural that you're going to outgrow some people. Not necessarily saying that they're not going to be your friend. You're not going to have love for them. But the saying is true that some people are for a reason and for a season. You have to be able to grow if those people don't have the same common interests as you. Why? Because like you said, that one time the forces that be could be trying to line you up through, yo, this is going on, that's going on. This is, if your life is really truly going to change, you have to make those decisions to, I hate to say cut people off, but
to detach yourself.
Detach yourself.
that would be
That's
a
it.
perfect way to say it, to be able to detach yourself from that type of friendship
From
and
loyalty.
from
Detach
that
yourself from loyalty.
in order so that you can grow, because you can't grow around, it's all the sayings are true, all those cliche sayings about if you want to fly like an eagle, you can't be with pigeons and can't be with regular, you know what I'm saying, we on the altitude, if you want to fly up here, you can't have them type of people around you. It's not by coincidence that people that are millionaires, their friends are millionaires, you know what I'm saying, they say if you want to change your circle, and until I truly started to break out of that, for some reason, people, places, and things kept me tied into bullshit for longer years than I really wanted to be.
But this is why we're talking about this, because we don't want to feel like everybody understands value, because it can't be that we understand it, because most of us wait until something catastrophic happens before us to get out of a situation. But if we understood our value, we will allow ourselves to get out before the issues. This whole thing that we talking about is trying to help people overcome situations and get out of situations without having to go through the turmoil, the fire, the anguish. We went through the anguish, so you don't have to.
Yeah.
So please take heed to what we're saying. We're not always right, but trust our perspective. This is a show that's for the people, from the people. We love you guys. Understand us. Listen to us. We all got things to say. We all got stories, and we just trying to give them to you to help you get through and navigate through your life.
Yeah, man. Trust your value.
We out.
Thanks for watching No Perspective. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Follow us on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat.